Okay, so what we're going to do now is we want to have parts that are lighter. So like in your apple drawing last week, you would have gone in and you drew the light on the apple, which really made it look a lot more realistic. We're going to do that to the pears as well. That's going to happen by adding white. But then if you look at the photographs that we're studying from, you'll notice there's some places where sometimes the green turns a little lighter first, and that's going to require you to use a little bit of yellow. Now, that would be creating what are called tints of a color. So where the green gets darker, those would be the shades. Where we're going to create the effect of the green getting lighter, that would be the tints. So tints is when you add white to show more light on an object. So I'm going to use the yellow first. Now you'll notice this one's been rolling around in there with all the other oil pastels. So it's getting pretty dirty. So I might actually want to use something, maybe I could scribble on a piece of paper with it or just take a paper towel, wipe it off. So that gives me a cleaner part to put it on. So this would seem lighter up here. So I'm going to put some light on there by using the yellow. And y'all can see where that's taking on a lighter tint right there. So it's almost like you can tell that's sort of where a shiny spot would be later. So I'm definitely going to need to do that on this pear. And the nice thing is it kind of blends itself in there a little bit because there's already that oil pastel it's working on top of. So that's a little convincing. What would be more convincing is to go even lighter. So the skin of the pear itself would be shiny, so when the light hits it, that's definitely going to need a white oil pastel. Again, it might be kind of dirty, so I'm going to take this, kind of wipe it off before I actually go to use it. So I think here would get a lot of light, so you can see how that's showing up a lot better because of the way the white contrasts with the green. This would probably seem kind of shiny along here. This would seem sort of shiny along this part. Remember this part here, it's not darker from a shadow, it's darker because of that color brown. So we're going to blend in some of that white later. So here it looks like a little kid like ran in and like scribbled some white on there. We know, as fourth graders, we're going to blend that in. I want to make sure my finger's clean because now that I'm using white, I don't want to mix a darker color on top of it. So I'm going to mix that into the green, mix this into the green. If I take too much off, I can always put some more back on. Mix this in, kind of check, am I getting too dark because I picked up a little bit of that brown there. And as this curves down away to the underside of the pear, that's where it's going to get darker. So as I pull it down, I'm not going to need to put more white on there. It should blend and turn greener and there should be less. So all of a sudden these are looking a lot more convincing, like I could pick it up off the paper. The last thing we're going to go in for is we're going to do the stems. The stem would almost be like, if I use this pencil here to demonstrate, when you guys are looking at it in front of the camera, the top side is lighter. You can see around here it gets darker as you wrap around. You can especially see that on the back side. So thinking about the way the light hits the pencil would help me with the stem, because the stem is kind of skinny like a pencil. So what I'm going to do, put my stem on there, making it seem like it's in the middle. So I'm going to use that brown. And then, oh, I went a little too thick on that one. You'll have to forgive me. So the underside would seem darker, so I'm going to trace the underside with the black. And it's very skinny, so there's not a lot of room to blend there. Right on top of the brown, on the other side, I'm going to go with the white. The nice thing is that kind of mixes on its own. You don't have to do a whole lot of blending. That already looks like I can reach in there and pick up the stem. So here, if the light's coming from this direction, the way I've indicated in the rest of the drawing, this side would have the shadow. And this side would have the light. I kind of overlapped a little bit. So I'm going to go back in with a little bit more black to fix that. Be careful about letting your stems get too big. If they start to look like fingers, then they're definitely too big. Alright, I look forward to seeing what you guys send me later as your finished images. So good luck!